We get tipped off. I get a picture sent to my iPhone. The records, the fiscal adoption records. A box sitting on a garbage can. And next to the garbage can is the shredder. The shredding company is there, right?
That the Adoption and the Safe Families Act, set in motion first in 1974 by Walter Mondale and later in 1997 by President Bill Clinton, offered cash bonuses to the states for every child they adopted out of foster care. In order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, local child protective services would need more children. They must have merchandise that sells, and they must have plenty so the buyer can choose. Some counties offer $4,000 to $6,000 bonus for each child adopted out to strangers. The system cannot be trusted. It does not serve the people. It obliterates families and children simply because it has the power to do so.
Everything that Nancy Schaefer said is absolutely correct, and that is why my children were illegally kidnapped and adopted in 2008. After 2 years of complying with service plans, going to Circus Act court hearings, doing absolutely everything that I was told to do, my caseworker came to me and she said, "Your kids are coming home." I finally got good news. I was elated. I walked into that courtroom and I was introduced to a woman who said she was my new lawyer. She said, "Your kids are not coming home. Your rights are being terminated." She said, "We can do this voluntarily or we can do this involuntarily, but it's going to happen. If you do it involuntarily, you will lose the rights of your youngest daughter that you currently have full custody of. And this is a sheriff here to take you to jail for child support payments that never existed." So for the very first time in 2 years, I got to speak in court. Judge Trish Corbett asked me if I was willing to voluntarily give up the rights of my children. I was given 5 minutes to make a decision. I said yes. She said, "Did you in any way feel forced into your decision?" I said, "Well, yes, of course." And she said, "In order for this to be voluntarily, you have to state that you were not forced into this decision." So I said no. She then looked at me and said, "That is the best thing that you have ever done for your children." I was then taken to jail. I paid $800 to be released, and I never heard from domestic relations again, miraculously. Case closed.
What I have said to you in these few minutes is that we must confront the fraud in Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services seizes children using the very system that is paid for by the taxpayer. That tax dollars are being used to keep this gigantic system afloat. Grandparents who lose their grandchildren to strangers have lost their own flesh and blood. The children lose their family heritage, and grandparents, and parents too, lose the connection of their heirs. And that the National Center on Child Abuse and Neglect in 1998 reported that 6 times more children died in foster care than in the general public, and that once removed to official safety, these children are far more likely to suffer abuse, including sexual molestation, than in the general population. Think what that number is today, 10 years later.
And we've been followed by the Citizen's Voice, the Times leader, even Time Shamrock, Scranton Times, has followed the Independent Gazette stories, and not one of them have said, hey, the Independent Gazette got it wrong.